Hypersonic Missiles is the debut album from none other than the Geordie-based Sam Fender. I first came across him with the record Dead Boys, which was played on Jules Holland. It was sent to me through my girlfriend's father. And from that point onwards, I just paid more attention. If you've not been following these videos over the past few days, then I'm going through and reviewing my favourite albums of 2019. We've looked at bands like Wallows, Frank Hare and the Rattlesnakes, the Amazons. We've looked at both Foals albums, the SLP and Slow Tie. Today, we're looking at Hypersonic Missiles from Sam Fender. What I'm going to do is go through track for track, look at what I like, what I don't like, talk about the album in general. But we'll kick that off with the title track, Hypersonic Missiles. I mean, if you haven't heard this song this year, then get out from under the rock that you're under, because it is a mammoth record. Talking about influences for this one, I think it would be very foolish to not talk about Bruce Springsteen. I mean, he even has a huge sax section in there, basically sounding like they're channeling the spirit of Clarence. You know, this record starts as such an important staple for the rest of this album. I'm really happy he used it as the title track. And it starts really simply. You know, we've spoken about pacing in albums and how it's really important to go big and then go bigger and then start to chill off a little bit. You don't get much more of a first jab than Hypersonic Missiles. It starts really calm and then goes straight into a very timeless sounding chorus, and that sax solo at the end is just so good. Absolutely deserved of Annie Mac's hottest record in the world of the year. Hypersonic Missiles. What more is there to say about it? What a great record and a great opener. We then move into The Borders, which is perhaps my favourite song on the album, and also my girlfriend's. She's a massive fan of Sam Fender. This record, it's really different. You know, it doesn't have a chorus, really. It's got a chord structure and something that feels memorable, but the song actually in itself doesn't have a chorus. And you know, we talked about war and drugs yesterday. This song is so war and drugs it bloody hurts. Anyway, definitely one of my favourite records of the year. It will be making it into my top 50 playlist, which we'll talk about at another time, but this, yeah, amazing record. The Borders is just it's a fantastic second track. And you know, this is now, by this point, a proven tactic. We go in with a boom, we move up to a bigger one with The Borders, we then go down into white privilege. You know, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I feel sorry for someone that's left-wing, and I'm clearly quite a left-wing character if you hadn't guessed up till this point. No one had been able to put into words my feelings around kind of white shame, or shame in general, until I heard this song. It talks about not wanting to be affiliated with the kind of patriarchy of this country and the people that run and have done horrible things to other people and oppressed. But I look like one of them. And it's right at the end. Well, there's a plethora of amazing lyrics in this one. One of my favourites being, don't want to hear about Brexit, them old fucked up my exit. But the final lyric at the end is, because I'm a white male, full of shame, my ancestry is full of evil and that evil is still not gone. And it repeats, and that evil is still not gone. You know, I would imagine most people listening to me talk about this or listening to this album probably feel the same. There is this horrible feeling that goes around some of this shit. The way I've learned to deal with it is just, I'm not one of those guys, so don't put me in that box. But I think this song articulates in just such a wonderful way how a lot of young blokes feel in this world. But it articulates the importance of checking your privilege. This is by no means going to go on a political rant. That's not what this channel's about. But, you know, I think music has to do a thing where it makes you feel. And this song does an amazing job of making you realise what you feel. And we're only on track 3. Track 4, Dead Boys, starts to pick it up again. This was the first song that I heard. It's very dark. It's about old northern towns that have been forgotten. You know what? Thatcherism did that, and that's going to happen again with this election, is my prediction. And all of these northern towns where loads of kids started just getting themselves. It's a dark record. The song tells this story which is just out of this world. It's so good. Production-wise, which is where I prefer to focus on because I'm not a big lyric guy. I think Sam Fender does an amazing job of making lyrics very accessible, but the production on this album, which is also done by the same guy who's not done anything else, that I'm aware of anyway, is amazing. It's so Joy Division, post-punk, feels very in that same ilk. And it's just amazing. I love the tempo and the pacing of the record, and it builds into this wildly epic and dramatic song. You know, we're on track 4 now, and it's heavy. This is a heavy start to the album. It's no joke. It's very political and very open in its approach. And that guitar lick in the middle, just before we go into the first chorus, is so good. Sorry, at the end of the first chorus is so good. It's so iconic. I can't wait. I'm seeing him play Ali Pali later on next year. Cannot wait. It's going to be an amazing gig. We then move into You're Not the Only One, which starts to again go on this ebb and flow of this album in terms of pacing. If I did have something to say about the pacing of this record, it would be that it feels like an album of 2 or 3 parts, and I think the first 2 parts work really well. This track in particular, you know, it's not a single, but it does tie the other songs together so wonderfully. I've always been a fan of that repeating kick drum machine style, and then it kind of kicks into... I keep going back to War on Drugs. I guess it's just like clangy post-punk, that is what I'm trying to say when I say that. But yeah, this record is just brilliant. It's one that is a sing-along and will make you lose your voice. The next track, Play God, was also one of the first songs I heard from this project. It's such a standout record. It's such a single, and it's just got this real kind of streetlights feel about it. It's a cold record. I've got a playlist somewhere called Cold Music. This would definitely go on it. Starts and builds. This guy just does building so well. He's just such a builder. Yeah, I think what an amazing album. By this point, this is the 3rd single from this record that we've had in terms of order, and you're just thinking, you know, what else has it got to give? Before we go into That Sound, which was taken from the Dead Boys EP and has a real Stone Roses is where I go with this record. It's just one of those, isn't it? It's a record that I think does an amazing job of encouraging a sing-along, and also just he showcases his accent very prominently across the album. This is also one of those that I think he does an amazing job with. Definitely. 4th single by this point. You know, the album's full of hits. Then moving to the track Saturday, which is probably Lauren's least favourite song. I think it's a great record. You know, if anyone's ever worked a 9 to 5, they could definitely understand what this means and where this comes from. If Saturday don't come soon, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh, we've all been there, right? Sam Fender doesn't have to worry about that ever again, does he? Definitely not. 14 to 1 to write the new Bond song. Whew, that's exciting. It's probably the weakest song on the album in terms of the rest of the project. It's an indie song. It's for sing-along, innit? Brilliant record. We then move into Will We Talk, which again, 5th, 6th single on this album by this point. Just a monster track. This is a Christmas record. You could just add little kind of Rudolph jingle bells in the background and it would be amazing. And, you know, this one obviously taking massive influence from Bruce Springsteen again. You'd be a fool not to recognise that. Just a sing-along. The guy is a genius. Writes up his own lyrics, produced by the same producer that he's always had. It's just so epic. It's like Elton John and Bernie. You know, it's just timeless collaboration. The last 4 tracks, when I first listened to this album, is my problem with this. I don't dislike them, but moving into 2 People, this feels like it should have been the last song on the album. It's a lovely record. It describes... it's a love song, right? But it's such a good one. He puts things into words which make a lot of sense. Toothpaste Kisses kind of stuff. Everlong. Classic love songs. Heroes. This falls into that category. I think it's an amazing love song. But then we move into Call Me Lover, and you realise it's not over. And instead we've taken this huge bit, all these big records like That Sound and Saturday and Will We Talk and Play God, and they're all up here, and then we kind of dip. So I would keep these songs in the album, but I put them somewhere in the middle. Just break that bit up a bit, make it a little bit varied. Call Me Lover is an amazing record. It really is. It starts with that kind of sexy ballady thing before moving into the kind of main structure of the song. And he really showcases his vocal talent in this song. Really showcases that. And the production has this big, booming sound to it. It sounds like a big pop band. But like I said, it's him and his producer. That's it. There's nothing else there to add this kind of manufactured feel to it. It's like organic commercialism, and that's the kind of commercialism that I'm okay with. Reminds me of Florence and the Machine, same kind of thing. In terms of its approach, not in terms of the sound. But God, he really showcases his voice in this one. We then move on to the song Leave Fast, which is a lovely song, but we're on a real slow downward peak here. So by the time we get to this song, I'm not the most excited for it, but it is a great record regardless. And I love that kind of cinematic western guitar at the end. That feels very cowboy. We've spoken a lot about this over the course of these series. It's got a lot of space. As it sounds like it's got a lot of space, and I think that's quite a hard thing to achieve, but it's brilliant. They managed to nail that. And then we move into the song Use, the live version, which it's a beautiful song, and it would have been an amazing final record had there had been something bigger before. I think Will We Talk should have gone just before this, and we ended on this. Pacing wise, that's what I would have done. Again, just showing what he can do with his voice. It's crazy. Encourages so much emotion out of you. Oh, this album is an absolute masterpiece. We'll look back on this in 30 years and go, f***ing hell. How did he do that? It's just an amazing, amazing album. And worthy of being my final album of the year. What do you think? Have you managed to see Sam Fender live? Have you listened to this album? What did you think of it? You know, what an amazing year it's been for music. And we'll do I've got a video of my top 50 class of 2019, which I'll be putting out in the next few days. And we've got 2020 to look forward to now. What albums are we looking forward to seeing? Perhaps that deserves its own video as well. But I'd love to know what you have to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. And I will see you in, well, not the next one because there isn't a next one. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.